Coming up to 9:09, our final candidate here that we want to meet in the riding of Calgary-Klein represents the Alberta Party. She actually ran for the leadership and came pretty close to knocking off Stephen Mandel, but he was the eventual winner. But Carol Levis joins us now. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
So you have been connected politically for a while. Has politics been something that you've always been a part of?
For a number of years, I've been working very hard, in particular in trying to get more women involved in politics. Having co-founded Ask Her with a number of friends and trying to get more women involved in municipal politics, it's great to put my name on a ballot and be out there with the voters and
do the door knocking.
Do the door knocking, try to get elected.
We're 0 for 3 so far. Do you live in this riding?
I live right adjacent to this riding.
But it is all clustered together here, isn't it?
That's right.
We're talking infrastructure today. Carol, what is the #1 infrastructure issue for you here in Calgary-Klein?
Well, I think water infrastructure in Calgary-Klein is actually going to be the important piece.
How so?
Well, we've seen a lot of concern over what's happening with the Highland Park Golf Course and whether or not there's going to be appropriate drainage planned in the Calgary-Klein area, and it all runs through many, many communities. And so, although it's mostly a city issue, I know that the province has a role to play in making sure that people are safe. And as we have a changing climate and things we have more extreme weather events, we will see that we need to manage things like water and development at the same time.
And Springbank Dam, if we're going to talk about water, how is that for you? Is that a priority? Do you think that that's important?
Well, that particularly affects some communities a little further south of Calgary-Klein, but I know that it is a priority of our former leader, Greg Clark, to make sure that his communities are safe in Calgary-Elbow.
So a lot of people here, the previous three, have also talked about the Green Line and getting more transit to this area to get people around quicker. Your views there?
I think the Green Line is a great project, and that it will. I was just very disappointed to see that it was only going to 16th Avenue in the first tranche. But when the final rollout happens, I think it will be a great way to move people up and down that Centre Street corridor. There are so many people already that take transit in that area, and I think improvements to that transit infrastructure will be really important.
It costs so much money, though, and the reason that it's been rolled out again in the stages is because of that very issue. What will the Alberta Party do to get the economy going to reach a point where we can afford stuff like that?
Well, the Alberta Party takes a both-and approach to the economy. So oil and gas, yes, and other industries and other things. So we've already talked about film and television tax credits, making changes to those to bring Alberta jobs home, to get some great productions going in this area. Investing in things like great transportation infrastructure, putting a third lane on the QE2, and developing technology with respect to autonomous vehicles. We'd like to be a leader in a lot more technological areas and play to our strengths. And in that way, we can really grow the economy with the oil and gas industry as well as other things.
Kara, I'm curious what you're hearing at the door as you're doing a ton of door knocking. No doubt that's what everybody is up to these days. Are you hearing a big undecided vote out there, and what are you hearing from those people as they ask you their questions?
There are a lot of people that are concerned about issues in this election, but they are worried about whether or not they're going to be able to vote their values and still elect a member. And so that's part of why I'm working so hard to meet as many neighbors in Calgary-Klein as possible, to make sure that they know that there is an option where they can bring both fiscal responsibility and social values to the table and vote for something that they really want to vote for, not against.
In your view, why is there no, and it'll just reflect on the most recent poll, which was still big for UCP, #2 was the NDP, and then way down was Alberta Party and the Liberals. Why is there no middle choice here in this province of ours that people are willing to look at so far?
Well, we've seen so many changes over the past few years with respect to both the right and the left of the political spectrum. And I'm really hearing a lot of people that would like to choose a middle option, but they're afraid. They're afraid of one side or they're afraid of the other, so they're voting against. And I think that as the Alberta Party rolls out the rest of its platform, as we see the leaders debate coming up on Thursday evening, I think we're going to see a jump in those polls, and people will start to wake up to another option that they have to really vote with their values, vote with their heart, and get both that fiscal responsibility and the social values that a lot of Albertans hold dear.
Still an uphill battle for some time to come, or do you think it'll come easier for the Alberta Party, for example?
Well, it's an uphill battle in the next 14 days, and we can all just do as much as we can, meet as many people, go to as many forums and community events, hand out coffee at train stations, and knock on doors. I am really, there are a number of people that are saying to me as well, I really want to vote for you, but I'm afraid I'll vote for you next time. Well, I don't think Alberta can wait for that next time, so I think those people that are thinking about that should really consider casting their ballot for the Alberta Party and electing some really strong Alberta Party MLAs so we can be their voices in the legislature.
It's funny, I'm kind of torn between, when you used the announcement, you gave the designated line for the self-driving vehicles.
That's right.
And when Stephen Mandel laid that out, initially I kind of thought, what are we talking about this for? On one hand, I love the fact they're thinking forward and those things are coming, and let's lead the way in that. But is that resonating with people who just want a job today?
Well, maybe, maybe not. There's so little time that you really have to get into key issues like that at the doors, but people that are paying attention really do like that forward-thinking approach. But again, that's if your politicians can't take a long-term view, then we actually get pretty poor decision-making. So I'm excited about the fact that we're taking a longer-term view, that we are investing in technology. I mean, even the oil and gas industry, technology is going to change it significantly in the next 10 years. So if we can't keep up with technological changes, then I don't know where we're going to be. If it's politically difficult, Alberta Party's up for the challenge. So we're going to keep pushing that to make sure that we're prepared, not just for the jobs of today, but the jobs of tomorrow.
What did you get into this for? Why did you want to try and make a difference?
Well, that's exactly it. I want to make a difference in the lives of Albertans. I am driven by the fact that I've got 4 little kids. They're going to be living in the Alberta of the future, and I meet so many families and so many individuals across Calgary-Klein that are both struggling and celebrating and working hard to really build a life for themselves, and I think that I have a perspective that I can bring. We haven't seen as many women in politics in the past, and I am really happy to go out and listen to people, connect with people, and make sure that we bring a whole set of diverse perspectives to building public policy so that we've got a great Alberta that's an Alberta for everyone.
You got a couple of weeks to go. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Nice to have you here. Kara Levis is the Alberta candidate, the Alberta Party candidate for Calgary-Klein. Coming up to 9:17 here on the Morning News.